Oh yeah. Ta-da! Put on a show. Hell's on Fire Season 9 is back. Continuation of Season 9. I think I'm going to speak what's on my mind tonight, people. I'm going to do it with Louie Wood Jr. in the house. Super music promoter of Dayton, Ohio. It's the end of the world as we know it. Because this is the show where Ohio throws down. Ohio is on fire. It's the continuation of Season 9. I'm back after a long and wonderful vacation. And I'm going to do my thing like always. And it's my farewell tour. Because yes, I will be leaving this station in the near future. I'll be leaving it for the second time. Perhaps for good. But until then, I'm going to rock it like no one else can. I have a buddy that's going to join me tonight later on. He is a super music promoter in the Dayton, Ohio area, Louie Wood Jr. Of course, he is one of the big promoters for an event called Dayton Does Dayton, and they're going to have their 6th edition come up in late February. And he's going to be on tonight. We're going to have an awesome interview because we're going to talk music, we're talking promoting concerts, and he's going to share his stories that he's allowed to share on the radio, and it'll be excellent. So he's my guest for later tonight. Plus I got OMVP, and throughout the show I'll be playing music by artists that's going to be performing at Dayton Does Dayton this year. And also Louie Wood Jr., he promised me he's got some surprises. So we got he's going to bring some surprise guests in. They'll be either call in or they'll just show up. So that's going to be wild, and I look forward to it. He said, and he told me it's going to be good surprises too. So none of those kind of like an intervention when someone's got a severe drinking problem. They just show up like, hey man, you got a drinking problem. It won't be one of those deals because I don't have a drinking problem. I don't drink, period. So this should be a good surprise. Everything's a bowl. I mean, we got the Rose Bowl, the Orange Bowl, the Super Bowl. Every week there's a new bowl game on. Bowl, 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 bowl. But you know something? I've done this the last few years where I talk about bowl games that they should have instead of these bowl games that we see on TV. And I'm doing another edition of it this year for you folks. It is Daniel Diesel's Bowl Hopes. Yes, these are bowl games I want to see happen, and maybe one day it will happen. And I made a list, so I'm going to go ahead and throw it out there right now for you guys to ponder. Yes, it's my list of bowl games that should happen in real life. But you got the Baby Back Ribs Bowl, in which the 2 fattest teams play for a lifetime supply of ribs. I think that'd be funny. But you know, get the 2 teams with, on average, the fattest players. Just let them go at it, and then they win a lifetime supply of ribs. Maybe Chili's. Some Chili's Baby Back Ribs. There you go. Now, also another bowl idea I have is the Wikipedia Bowl. Teams will not pick plays; they'll just Google search them. So there's that. Also, we got the Hothead Burrito Bowl. Yes, it's me personally, I think this, but I love Hothead Burrito. I believe they should have a bowl game. And here's what needs to happen since they're based in Ohio. It needs to be the Cincinnati Bearcats versus the Ohio Bobcats. And they use overstuffed burrito as the football. And as they throw it, stuff would pour out everywhere, be all sticky. People would be sliding on the Hothead sauce. It'd be something to watch. It doesn't matter what records these 2 teams have. It needs to be the Bearcats and the Bobcats in this bowl every year. I don't care if one team's 2-10, the other one's undefeated, it could be in a championship. They need to be in this bowl game. That was my JFK impersonation. Now also, I think it's about time I had my own bowl game. I'm talking about the Daniel Diesel Bowl. And in this game, I can bend all the rules I want to, and would have a halftime performance by Sly and the Family Stone. Because listen, Sly and the Family Stone have gone into hiding. They haven't performed in public, I think only once in the last 20 years. And for every reason, but you know what? I'm going to contact them. I will hunt them down, and they will be in my bowl game. So, yes, I'll make the magic happen. The national anthem. I would get You know what? I think I get Kate Upton. Not only is she a hot supermodel, but I bet she's a good singer too. So I would get Kate Upton in her swimsuit cover outfit. She would sing the national anthem. It'd be the greatest bowl game ever. We did the Daniel Diesel Bowl. So also we have the Oscar Mayer Wiener Bowl. But basically it would be Urban Meyer playing against his massive ego. So, also I got the Netflix Bowl, where you can watch all the past great football bowl games ever for $7.99 a month. Tell your children, and they'll enjoy it. Netflix Bowl. Alright, that was a shameless plug for the Netflix Bowl. I don't think it's real, but it should be real, dang it. Also, we got the Ron Jeremy Bowl. He'll bring the ball. I think I said, yeah, he'll bring the ball. Yeah. So enough said on that. Alright, we also got the Star Wars Bowl. It'll be based off the movie that came out this past December, which I got to see in theaters. It'd be Kylo Ren versus Han Solo on the field. Yoda, head official he is. And hopefully I didn't spoil anything about Star Wars for anyone that hasn't seen that movie yet. But yeah, Kylo Ren and Han Solo can have their matchup on the field, where Kylo Ren it'd be like dodgeball, where you pick people on the playground. That's what Kylo and Han can do. They can pick up the stormtroopers. You know, Jabba the Hutt could be on there. It'd be great. The Star Wars Bowl, I love it. So there's that. We also got the Hunger Games Bowl. It would be just like the movie, except Johnny Manziel, he would play the role of both Peeta and Katniss Everdeen. So, but although we want this guy to die, though, like in the movies, we want Peeta and Katniss to live. But I think Johnny Football, I think a lot of people would be happy if someone took a giant fork and threw it at him and it tore through him like a little piñata. I think people would enjoy that at this point. So yes, let's have the Hunger Games Bowl featuring Johnny Manziel. And I got one more idea for a bowl. It is the WWSU 106.9 FM Bowl. Since I am leaving this semester, I think it's about time this college radio station has its own bowl. This one would be a classic, but thanks to low frequency, no one would be able to watch it. So hey, there you go. And we are back with Ohio is on Fire. I am the host, Daniel Diesel. Just now I played Seth Cannon and the Carriers and their songs Come Distract Me and Pap's song. And then after that I played Best for Last and one of their latest hits, If Not You. Chris Leonard tonight got Louie Wood Jr. But it is now time for everyone's favorite segment. It is now time for the first time in close to 2 months since winter vacation. It's freezing cold but needs to come out of a shell and be hot and warm on this show. Because this is a segment known as OMVP. And that stands for Ohio's Most Valuable Pedestrian. Ooh, ah. And what it is, OMVP is an award. That's not really an award, but a really cool shout out to either a person or a group of people or sometimes an entity. It could be a mundane object, such as a drone, which I've done that before. I've given this to a drone before. But you did something cool in the state of Ohio, or you did something weird, but it was fun and positive, and people will laugh about from years to come. So that is what OMVP is all about. Of course, most of the time there's an article, and so I'll maybe get to the article that is accompanied to this week's OMVP. But the title is called Bus Drivers Lose Pounds, Earn Cash with RTA's Fitness Program. And this is from DaytonDailyNews.com, so let me read part of it. You know, that's actually a really good idea. I sort of wish WWSU would have a program for that. I think there's a few DJs and directors that could drop a few pounds and have a cash incentive. That's actually really cool, that if you lose a certain amount of weight, you'll get paid for it. You get a little bonus pay, perhaps pay your rent or whatever utilities that you have. And this is actually really cool. I don't know if there's many companies that offer this. There's probably a few others, but I don't know about it because I found out RTA's plan. And you know what? That's really cool for the RTA to do that. Of course, the RTA, they're one of the biggest transportation systems in the Miami Valley. I've used it several times. I think Lou has used it a few times. Everyone who's anybody has probably used the RTA at one point. So they have a lot. It's really stressful. Haven't seen these drivers do what they do. It can be really stressful behind the wheel, having to keep a schedule. But I tell you, of all the people that have done this program, I'm impressed with this Victor Hall guy, because he lost close to 60 pounds, and for his height, I'm assuming he was only like 5'6", 5'7". To weigh that much for his height, that's quite a bit. But he lost it. Now he's a bit of a stud muffin, because it's showing a picture of Victor Hall. He's got muscles. He's a stud muffin. Yeah, yeah. I was trying to do a tiger call, but it's a little bit rusty. I haven't done a tiger call in about 3 months, so I need to go home and practice, because I've been on vacation. Let me see if I can try. Yeah, it's my meow. It sounds like a meow more than anything. Alright, whatever. I gotta practice it at home. So Victor Hall, I tell you what, I think I got a surprise for you, buddy. Not only are you an excellent driver of the RTA, not only did you used to be really big, but now you're really small and you're buffy looking. And not only do you have a nice bald head, because I'm looking at a picture of you and it looks great. You wear the bald headed look perfectly. But Mr. Victor Hall, you're something else on this episode for doing what you do. Victor Hall, the RTA, you are OMVP. That stands for Ohio's Most Valuable Pedestrian. Ooh, ah. So, yeah, a little clap for Victor Hall. And we are back live with Ohio's on Fire. I'm the host, Daniel Diesel, and I got my special guest interview for tonight. He is a super music promoter around the Dayton, Ohio area, very well known, and he is promoting a concert that's coming up next month called Dayton Does Dayton 2016. He is the one and only Louie Wood Jr. Say hello, sir.
How's everybody tonight?
Yes, well, welcome, Louie.
Well, glad to be here. Thanks for the opportunity.
You're welcome, sir. Now, I want to ask you, did you want to be a rock star when you were a little kid?
Well, when I was a kid, when I was 11 years old, I worked at the Dayton Museum of Natural History in their astronomy department and planetarium.
Yeah.
And I helped do the laser light shows there, and I got to work in the astronomy department, and I got to be a DJ in the planetarium music way back then at 11 years old. That's how I started my music career, actually.
Well, I'm actually fascinated. So you said, how'd you get to be a DJ for that position? How that happened?
Well, we did the laser light shows, and before and after the planetarium shows, and before the laser show started, we got to DJ music before the show started.
Okay.
Guests were waiting for the show to start.
It would be regular music you hear on the radio to keep them entertained?
All kinds of great stuff. Star Trek theme music,
Oh.
Star Wars theme music. We played a lot of stuff in the 90s that were really popular.
Well, that's
New
excellent.
York, Jesus Jones, EMF. A lot of great bands that came out of the 90s that I grew up with.
Yeah, the early 90s. Well, that's a good treat there. I bet that was a lot of fun for people that witnessed that. But now I want to ask you this. So how did you break into music promoting after you did that at 11? What was the story of how you decided to be a music promoter?
Well, then I started really DJing. I started guest DJing at clubs in Dayton that were real famous, like 1470 West, which is now Club Mask.
Yeah.
I DJ'd at which was called Warped Wing Brewery, I think now. Back then it was called the Foundry. That's a big nightclub. Guest DJ'd in a lot of places like Portland and New York and Chicago, and I specialized in 80s, 90s retro music and also gothic industrial music from some of my favorites back in the day, like The Cure and Depeche Mode, Nine Inch Nails, Ministry. You hear a lot about EDM music these days. It's real popular, but there was a music called EBM, and it stood for Electronic Body Movement, and it was mainly German industrial electronic bands like Covenant and bands like V&V Nation and so forth. And this was a very popular underground music scene from about 1998 to about 2007 until it finally died out.
Yeah. But let me ask, when you decided you wanted to promote music, did you go to the artists? Like, did you go to a lot of them at once saying, hey, I want to do this, could you help me out? Like, where'd you get the courage to venture into this business?
That's a good question. I started my official concert, the official first one, with live local bands, was at a place called the Dayton Dirt Collective.
Yes.
You know about that place?
Yeah, I remember that.
Before it was the Dayton Dirt Collective, it was an adult bookstore. But anyway, there was a group of metal bands and punk bands in Dayton, which now play at Blind Bob's a lot in the Oregon District.
Yeah.
And they started a place called the Dayton Does Dayton, short the DDC, which is short, of course. And it was a group of grassroots underground musicians that wanted a place to play because the bars weren't hiring them for gigs.
Yeah.
So they started up this place called the DDC. And so I never knew I was going to be a concert promoter. I always knew I was going to be a DJ and someone who teaches astronomy and things like that. And so I did a show for a band that I really, really loved that helped me start this all, was the Smiths.
All right.
In Morrissey. So I threw a Smiths tribute there, and it was very successful. And one of my almost 10 years, First Florist supports my events, and they're one of our official sponsors for the 80s tribute. They donate thousands of flowers. And we decorated like a Smiths music video, and that's where we started doing this back in 2009 at the Dayton Does Dayton.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And that show did very, very well. And so we said, well, let's do this again next month. So we did a tribute to The Cure, which is my second favorite band. My first favorite band is New Order. Of course, if there are any New Order fans out there. I was sad recently when Peter Hook left New Order and they did another album without him. That kind of sucked. But anyway, so the first two concerts I did were tribute shows. And the bands did both originals and covers to the Smiths in January of 2009, and in February in 2009 a tribute to The Cure. And I called the Cure party the funeral party.
Oh, man.
So it was a pretty fun show. So the crazy thing is about these tribute shows is that some of the most popular local bands in Dayton and beyond got their start from these shows, but they also, a lot of them were not original bands from the beginning. They mostly did covers, and so I told them, if you want to play these tribute shows and be a cover band, that's fine, because I like cover bands. I think that's a great way to make a living, and it's a great hobby, and you learn a lot from, learning other people's covers, but you have to learn originals. So a lot of the bands, a lot of the local indie rock bands, punk bands, and so forth, rock bands, even some blues bands, they didn't have the courage to learn covers yet. And they learned originals for these shows. And now they're some of the hottest original bands in the Dayton music scene because of these tribute shows starting in 2009.
Absolutely. Now, from your standpoint and the experience that you have, how many concerts did you, like when you first started out, did you lose money on before there was one concert that you promoted that did very well? When did you find your niche?
Well, I think that everything is a learning experience. First of all, when you lose money, you learn how to do the show better next time and how to advertise it better. A lot of people in the industry, they have a bad show and they quit. They throw in the towel right away. With me, I really put some heart and soul behind the bands. And most importantly, and I think this is very important for any local promoter, is to get the bands to rally behind you and get the bands to have your back, because if you have the band's backs, then the band should have your backs too.
Yes.
And they should get a few people out and help you support the cause and put some more wood in the fire so the fire burns stronger. So I think when you're a local promoter, you need help from local bands. You need their support, and you need them to say that they're proud to be involved in the event and they're excited to do it, because there's one of me and hundreds of musicians out there. So I'm outnumbered. So I need people, and I like to work with people who are excited about doing what I'm doing, and that's one of the reasons why I do it. So it's not always about money. A lot of it is about hearing things like, "Oh, you gave me the first gig."
Yes.
That my first original gig. Things like that are really why I do it. But it's really important to pay the promoters in this industry, because we work hard out here. We work very, very hard. We're out there hitting the streets and falling down in the snow when the bands aren't passing out flyers. We're the ones making the Facebook and Instagram post when the bands won't sometimes. So it's important. If you work in a bar or a venue, and that bar is making $7,000 that night, and the bands, need to make money, and the person working the door is making money that night, the bartenders are making money, the people in the restaurant business at the bar are making money, so it's okay to make a cut at the end of the night if a promoter earns it. And especially if a promoter is working very, very hard on the project and gets a lot of people out and gets the bands to get people out too, that promoters do earn their cuts out there if they really are doing their job. Some do and some don't.
Is there an ethics code that a promoter must follow when doing business with other musicians?
Yes, always pay the bands at the end of the night if a bar's making money. One thing I don't like about some bars is that they have a loose door policy. They're not charging people at the door. They're letting all their friends in for free, and so the bands see hundreds of people at an event, and then the bar let half the people in for free. So I think it's more ethical if someone's not on the guest list you know, just to not let people in for free, because the bands, you have to pay the piper, you know, pay the musician. Those instruments are not cheap. Guitars are not cheap. You know, keyboards are not cheap. You know, it's not like we just get these from, you know, from a store and not pay for them. You know, so it's important for bars and to pay for their entertainment and advertise for them as well. And some people advertise for entertainment, some people don't. But I think it is a question of ethics. You know, how many people got in here for free? You know, if you're throwing a charity show and there's 50 people on the guest list, are we really here for this charity tonight? You know what I mean? So it's really important to pay bands and for promoters to get paid too, because that way we're not being used. We're not being used by the bar or the venue. We're being treated fairly. Everyone deserves to be treated fairly, including promoters.
I agree. But quick follow-up question: do you think it's a good idea to pay bands in advance?
That depends. If some venues, well, first of all, there's a difference between, in my opinion, some people disagree with me, and that's fine. I like other people's ideas. I like it when people have a different opinion than I do.
Yeah.
Music venues are like Bogart's in Cincinnati, Newport in Columbus, Odd Bodies here in Dayton. When people come to a venue, they are 100% there for the show.
Yes.
They're there for the people on the stage, not the people in the crowd that they're going to party with.
Yeah.
So venues, they set up deals with agents and marketing managers for their record company, and they work out contracts and deals. So if everybody knows what's going on and it's in writing, I think that's okay. If bands when they play in bars, it's different from playing in a music venue, a national music venue like Odd Bodies or Jilly's. When bands play in bars, they're working for the door. So if I'm one of those people that says you either charge the bands or you don't, there's no gray area. It's important to pay the bands, because when you're working in the venue and the band see 200 people in the audience and they got paid $20 at the night and there are only 2 bands performing, that's not ethical at all. You know, you need to pay the piper, like I said.
Absolutely. Now, Louie, you brought me some surprises. I'm really excited right now. I believe you brought your friend Reyna Spears, who's going to be performing at Dayton Does Dayton. Hi, Reyna.
Hello.
Hello. When I believe you're going to surprise us, you're going to perform, I guess, a song or two, I guess, of your originals. Now, what are you going to be performing?
Well, I think the first song I'm going to do is called Break Me. It's a song I wrote for negative sayers and haters out there. And
Yes.
there's plenty of them out there, but yeah, the first one is going to be that one, and the second one's going to be a song called Problems. And thank you so much for having me on the show, Louie. Thanks for having me be part of
Yes.
Dayton. I'll be on February 27th.
Absolutely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I now present you Reyna Spears, live in the studio.
Thank you. This is Break Me.
With that pretty little face, you're really a disgrace. Do you hear me? With your nose up in the air, your smile's really a snare. Do you feel me? I can see through the dirty things you do. Don't play me like a fool, don't tease me. You manipulate, you can't handle your own plate, so you make a fist and shake it at me. You better break me before you wake me. You better break me. Yeah. How you getting off? I'm agreeing what you're not. You're gonna get caught, believe me. Your swagger's just a pose, everybody knows. Can you see me? Your treasure's a facade, your chance in life is shot. What matters can't be bought, do you know yet? You condemn and blame, you can't handle your own plate, so you make a fist and shake it at me. You better break me before you wake me. You better break me before you wake me. I let you do what you think you can do, but you really have the clue, do ya? I'll rise as you fall, you had it all. I'll take my life from you. You better break me before you wake
Excellent.
Thank you.
All right, that was your first one. So you're going to do your second one?
Sure.
All right.
All right.
Once again, Reyna Spears live in the studios here at WWSU 106.9 FM. Take it away.
Okay, the song is called Problems. I've got some problems. I got the law after me. I got some problems. If they catch me, I won't be free. They wanna take me back to where I came from, and that's where I don't belong. They wanna make me go back, oh my luck is up. What I've worked for can't be found. I got some problems. I got some problems. Oh, I got some problems. I got some problems. My past caught up with me. I got some problems. Oh, money can't free. Too many strangers' eyes, too many sleepless nights, too many plans with not enough time. How can I face the fact there's a turning back? I'm moving on, staying strong. I got some problems. I got some problems. I got some I got some problems. Problems. I got some problems.
And we are live with Ohio is on Fire. I'm your host, Daniel Diesel. And thank you to you. I've had a wonderful audience tonight. There's a lot of people listening right now, and I really appreciate it. This has been an awesome show. And I got another surprise for you right now. He is also, this next artist, he'll also be performing at Dayton Does Dayton. He is Ricky Johnson. And it was another surprise by Louie Wood Jr. So right now, Mr. Ricky Johnson, he's going to perform two songs. The first one's going to be a song called For Real.
For real.
For real. That's for real. So, without further ado, I present to you Ricky Johnson.
Then when my baby left, she wouldn't look me in the eye. She never said nothing, all she did was cry. She's always into playing kids' game. I know how to play, but I choose not to just the same. For real, for real. Well, I asked her if she wanted it for me to stay. She didn't say nothing, she stood there all day. I said, if you don't want me, then I would go away. And how you think you feel if you were treated the same way? For real, for real. was crying, said I end up playing kids games. She wants to play, but I'm sure not just the same. For real? For real? Then when I asked her if she didn't want me to stay, she didn't say nothing. She stood there in the day. I said, if you don't want me, then I will go away. Then how you think you feel if you treat the same way? For real? For real? Said, for real? For real?
All right, yeah.
Woo.
Ricky Johnson has his first song. Now he's going to perform another song for us. Go ahead and introduce it for us.
It's called, I'm Going to My House.
Well, let's do it. Let's go to your house.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ricky Johnson, live in the studio.
Over at my girlfriend sitting here all alone. My girlfriend's here and I'm sitting all alone. I don't know why I'm here, I should just go on. I said I'm going to my house, gonna have a real good time. They said I'm going to my house, party with some friends of mine. I do what I want to do anyway and all of the time. I can be with my friend till the night ends. I don't have to ask if they can come in. Going to my house, gonna have a real good time. I said I do what I want to do anyway and all the time. For the people that didn't hear it the first time. I said I'm over at my girlfriend sitting here all alone. My girlfriend's here and I'm sitting all alone. I don't know why I'm here, I should just go on home. I said I'm going to my house, gonna have a real good time. Yeah. Going to my house, party with some friends of mine. Party about some girlfriends and do what I want to do anyway and all of the time. Like what? I can be with my friend till the night ends. I don't have to ask her if they can come in. Going to my house, gonna have a real good time. I do what I want to do anyway all of the time. I said I do what I want to anyway and all of the time.
Yes. All right, Ricky Johnson, yes. Now, Louie Wood Jr., he was helping Reyna pack up her car. He will be right back. He'll be here in any minute. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about Dayton Does Dayton for a little bit. So that's the big concert he's promoting.
About Dayton Does Dayton?
Yes.
I played there last year.
Now, Ricky, are you going to perform in that Dayton Does Dayton this year?
Yeah.
What night?
I'll be on there Saturday night. It'll be the same night that Reyna Spears is going to be.
Same night as Reyna. Well, that's going to be awesome. But yes.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to read. I went to the Facebook page for Dayton Does Dayton, so I'm going to go ahead and talk about it for a little bit. It's going to be Friday and Saturday. That's February 26th and February 27th. It's $10 tickets each night with free parking. The very popular Songwriters Round session on both nights will warm up the show at 7:30 on Friday and 7 p.m. on Saturday. And then 7:30 p.m. sharp start time on Friday, and then 7 p.m. start time on Saturday. Both nights will last until 1 in the morning. 10 minutes short wait in between bands, so it'll be very short wait. Now, I'll list off the bands that's going to be there. Live band and solo performances by Narakroff Patterson Band, Seth Kinnon and the Carriers, Back Porch Jam, which is a University of Dayton professors, and more. I'll ask Louie about that. Then there's Beasley, Tiger Sex, DJ Dwayne Wheeler, Best for Last, former Miss Ohio International Alyssa Hansen, Wild Mountain Berries, Shakertown, Backtalk Blues Band featuring Gary Guitar Williams, John Mullen, Todd Klimmer, Jason Monatic, Zane Gurich, Dylan Todd Steelman, and then DJ Mr. Kid, aka Louie Wood Jr. So Louie Wood Jr. will be performing at this event. Then we got David Joseph Thurlow and band, aka Super Zero, Callie Muse, Miranda Louise Pennington, the Joe Tillman Band, Reyna Spears, who was here in the studio, and of course Ricky Pat Johnson and his musical players. So anyway, he performed 2 songs for us just now. Excellent stuff. And Heidi Lacey Olive, Matthew Mayers, Rev Cool Carter, Ryan McLinn, and Larry Linos. That's who's on the lineup. So now Louie Wood is back in the studio. I want to talk to him for a little bit. So yeah, welcome Louie. Anyway, I'm impressed with this lineup. I'll definitely be going to one of these nights. I think it'll be Saturday I'm going to try to shoot for. So this looks really good.
Cool.
Now I want to ask you, Louie, what do you like best about the music scene here in Dayton?
It's very strong. There are a lot of troopers in this area. People keep trucking in the music industry, and even when their bands break up, they start other projects or go solo.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
People in this music scene really are determined, and that says a lot for it all. And that's one of the reasons why Dayton Does Dayton exists, because of the enthusiasm. You know, this is really the only show like it in the world, literally, where bands spend the whole weekend paying tribute to themselves. And especially with all the genres, we have every musical genre represented at the show. We really, truly do. Blues, funk, soul. We got a little bit of rap, rock and roll, indie rock, pop. We got 5 singer-songwriters, like you just mentioned on the lineup, opening and warming up the show.
Yeah.
Before the bands get started. And you get to see all of this great talent for only $7. And there's free parking.
Yes.
At the event.
Hopefully this will be the biggest event in Dayton. We're trying to make it where it's going to be that if everybody in the country will know about Dayton Does Dayton, and hopefully everybody will be coming in from different places of the country. So.
Well, it sounds awesome, and I'm going to do something that's been a dream of mine, but I want to talk about Lee's Chicken. Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken is going to be as one of the sponsors for Dayton Does Dayton this year. They're going to be there on the Friday night portion of the show, which is February 26th. They'll be giving away chicken that the audience will be able to eat. And the Chicken Man for Lee's the chicken guy. He's going to be in his costume. He's going to be dancing. Buck, buck, buck. Yes, it's a real mascot for Lee's. And he will be there Friday, or her, depends on who's, maybe it's a him or her, I don't know.
Lee's Chicken actually they didn't start in Dayton, but they got one of their big leaps happen here in Dayton, Ohio. You know, specifically the Linden Avenue location. So they're really proud to be a part of this. And on Saturday night, we have the company that owns Meadowlark Restaurant, the real fancy, nice restaurant, who also operates and runs the Wheat Penny Pizza restaurant that's real popular on Wayne Avenue at the edge of the Oregon District. They're going to be feeding the bands as well on Saturday night. So they're one of our sponsors. And Spaghetti Warehouse is also one of our national sponsors. And they, at the photo shoot that was done by Jennifer Taylor, a real popular, very, very brilliant photographer here in Dayton, they fed over 100 musicians for free for us just to put their name on this project. And we turned Spaghetti Warehouse in downtown Dayton, Oregon District into a full film studio. I
saw that because the pictures are online at Facebook. Like if you go to the Facebook page for Dayton Does Dayton at Gillies 6th Annual, do a search, and Louie's been constantly putting pictures up of artists, and you guys did a big photo shoot at the Spaghetti Warehouse. They look awesome, so check those out if you haven't seen them yet, and check out everything that he has to offer. But yes, my dream came true that I was able to promote Lee's Chicken and the Chicken Guy. So that's Friday, February 26th. You can check out Lee the Chicken Man I'm Dayton. That's funny. Dayton Does Dayton. So I got a few more questions for Louie. Is there anything that you dislike about the Dayton music scene, or do you notice any egos?
Not really. I think that some bands have so much potential, and it really depresses me when they don't give it their all.
Okay.
There are some out there, but for the most part, the music scene is great. It's really incredible, like I said. But I do my job to try to encourage bands to promote harder, and some artists they're very good at their music, but they're not very good at selling themselves.
Yeah.
There are a whole lot of musicians in Dayton that are very good at selling themselves. So sometimes I do get disappointed when local music scenes don't work a little bit harder. I think we could work a little bit harder, to be honest, to make this the scene that it once was. In the 90s, we had so much great stuff going. When I was younger, the Breeders were big, and Guided by Voices were even bigger than they are now, and and the Pixies, and we had a huge national music scene in the early 2000s and throughout the 90s, and I'd like to see that come back, and that's one of the reasons why I do Dayton Does Dayton, to make the music scene strong. We do it around the time when there's no other events or festivals, and it's really the only festival like it in the whole world, where bands pay homage to each other.
But let me ask you, now Dayton Does Dayton does sound very awesome, and I definitely will be attending. In your lifetime, you probably have seen hundreds of concerts. What do you think was the greatest concert ever held in the Dayton, Ohio market that you attended?
Well, there's so many of them. You should ask that question to Richard Brown.
Yes.
Who's Dayton's #1 music supporter. I can get him on your program sometime.
Well, I want to talk.
That.
Well, here's the thing. I want him as a guest because I will be leaving the station. I don't know, in March or April, because this was my last semester. I really do want to have him. I want him on as a guest. So yeah, if you talk to him, which I'm Facebook friends with him, I definitely want Richard on the show in the future.
Well, definitely.
Near future.
Definitely. I'll give him a call as soon as I leave the studio and ask him, and I'm sure he'll say yes.
Cool beans. I might want him for our last episode, so we'll keep in touch on that.
Great.
Work something out. So you're not going. So you're chickening out on answering the question. What's the
in Dayton, Ohio? What was the best concert I've ever seen?
Yeah, in person.
I think my favorite band in Dayton, Ohio. Deep Purple.
I'm a little older, a few years before.
My very, very favorite band that came out of Dayton, Ohio would probably have to be Jasper the Colossal.
Okay.
That's my favorite Dayton band. Some of my other favorite ones are, of course, Rick Derringer's from Salina area, though.
Huh?
The Salina area of Dayton. He's from Dayton.
Well, he played at Canal Street.
Well, yeah, he played at Canal Street, but he wasn't originally from Dayton, Ohio. Salina, Ohio, north area. But,
Close.
yeah. Well, Jasper the Colossal, the Motel Beds are a great band. There's so many. There's a band I really liked that moved to Columbus and became very successful and is successful right now in the Columbus music scene. They're called Sleep Fleet.
Yes.
Sleep Fleet.
Oh.
That's a great band. There's so many great bands and
Yes.
national level bands that came out of Dayton. The funk. Some people still don't know. They're trying to get funding. I don't know if they have or not. They may have already.
Okay.
You have to research this on the internet for yourselves out there. But some people still don't realize that Dayton, Ohio is the funk capital of the world. Funk music came out of Dayton, Ohio. There used to be amusement parks. There were 2 amusement parks in Dayton, Ohio.
I didn't know that.
That were going on and operating at the same time, and that's where the funk, the lakeside.
Was that the 70s?
70s and 80s.
Oh yeah.
And earlier too.
That was early.
Yeah.
I never knew. Well, we need to bring that back to music park because we do have minor league baseball with the Dragons. That's pretty cool. I didn't think there'd be enough room for Dayton to have a music park because they're so big now. Like the Kings Island. I mean, that'd be cool if Dayton had the room to put an amusement park in.
There's some really big venues here in Dayton. Some people don't realize that Jilly's is so big. Jilly's, you can fit 600-700 people in there if you really wanted.
Yeah.
And Odd Bodies, which is the former McGuffey's, that's a great music venue. I get to work security detail when they have their bigger shows there. I worked VIP security for their Pop Evil show recently, Mushroom Head show. I did a Buck Cherry.
Yes. Buck Cherry, yes.
Check out oddbodies.com, Odd Bodies Music Room, former McGuffey's, like I said. They have some great shows there. And it's real popular with women, too. They have this male review show, and they fight, who's going to work security that night. You know what I mean? So Odd Bodies is a great place. And that's one thing about Dayton, and that there's some great venues here. Blind Bob's is a great place in the Oregon District for indie rock. If you like indie rock, if you like a lot of blues and jazz, Jilly's, like I said, and also the Oregon Express. If you like a lot of folk and country and bluegrassy type music, the Trolley Stop is in the Oregon District, which is Dayton's oldest bar downtown. There's a lot going on people don't realize. You really don't have to leave Dayton like some people think, to have a great time in Dayton,
Yeah, I think Dayton's in its I know they talk about the golden age and silver age. I like to think the Dayton music scene is either it's upon or it's right now in the middle of a new golden age. Because I am really impressed with what's going on. Because I was looking in, because I like to look up music online. I think I would agree with you. It seems like there was a time where late 80s, early 90s, I hear a lot of people say Dayton music was great, but then a lot of those bands got popular, they got signed, they left the area, or they weren't in the area as often. There was like a lull in the late 90s, early 2000s. Would you agree?
Yeah, a little bit. But also, too, social media is kind of shaking things up these days.
Yeah, I agree.
A lot of bands really have a hard time figuring out how to promote. Where do I promote? Do I promote Instagram? Do I promote on Facebook, too? I haven't seen, this is the truth, and this is not saying anything bad about the music scene. I really don't have anything bad to say about the music scene, except for we need to work together as a team to promote ourselves harder, to get more attention on a national level. Okay, that's the only thing I have to say. That may be slightly negative. I really don't have anything negative to say. But we really have the venues in Dayton to bring national acts in. We could have more national acts at Jilly's downtown, and there is a space. And like I say, there's always plenty of free parking as well, and we have other bars sponsor this event. Odd Bodies is a proud sponsor of Dayton Does Dayton. We've had Dublin Pub endorse this, So many, Oregon Express has endorsed this a few years, started endorsing this a few years ago. They like the idea. So many sponsors. The Dayton Blues Society. Spaghetti Warehouse. The Dayton Blues Society is going to donate 2 yearly memberships. And they're going to set up camp at Dayton Does Dayton on Friday night to support.
Wait, who is?
The Dayton Blues Society.
Okay.
Yeah, they're going to set up camp on Friday night at Dayton Does Dayton at Jilly's to show their support for the blues bands and give away 2 yearly memberships. We have the Dayton Bike Share program with Dayton Mine Valley RTA. They've endorsed this. They're sponsoring us. They're going to give us gift certificates so people can rent bikes downtown for free and have fun. So many big things are happening for this show. So many sponsored. This is the most sponsored endorsed show in the history of Dayton music events. It really is.
Well, that's amazing. That's quite an achievement. And of course, Louie, you've made quite a name for yourself as a music promoter within the Miami Valley, Dayton area. Would you like to give a shout out to someone else that's doing really good as a music promoter that you know of?
I support everybody. I really do. I have disagreements with people and ways to promote, but I support people like Brandon Hawk at Blind Bob's who are doing great things.
Yeah, I've heard of him. He's good.
Gretchen's doing a good job at the Oregon Express. Just because I disagree with people or promoters disagree with each other doesn't mean we support the cause. And the cause is getting the word out for Dayton bands and that they're doing great shows. And I do support people. I support Neil at Odd Bodies. I support Mick Montgomery, the former owner and operator of Canal Street Tavern, who originally came up with the idea Dayton Does Dayton. So, and that's the reason why
he was a brainchild.
Yeah, and before Canal Street Tavern, before it opened up, if you didn't know a lot of covers, it was hard for you to get a gig in this region. You really could not get a gig. It was hard. It was hard for you as an original artist to get a gig in a bar or venue in Dayton, Ohio, before Mick Montgomery opened up the floodgates for Dayton, Ohio. So Mick Montgomery is the originator and the idea behind this event, and if it wasn't for Mick Montgomery, who supports this and who is my co-partner in this adventure year after year, there wouldn't be Dayton Does Dayton, and we probably wouldn't have as much history in Dayton because of Canal Street Tavern. So Canal Street Tavern is 100% behind Dayton Does Dayton and will be for years to come. So if you're listening out there, Mick Montgomery, we appreciate I appreciate the opportunities that you've given me over the years. I think you're a great guy. I love Canal Street Tavern. I'll never forget it. We were sitting through a Dayton City Paper interview because Dayton City Paper is using the photos, and I really almost cried because he told me right in front of the newspaper article, and he told the newspaper that I ended up being one of the most trusted employees at Canal Street Tavern, and he said he was proud of what I'm doing with this event.
Oh man!
And I thought that I almost cried. It was a great moment in my life to hear Mick Montgomery say that to a professional journalist. So it was awesome.
Well, that's excellent because I've heard a lot of things about Mick Montgomery. I don't think I've ever met him. Perhaps I will. Maybe I'll run because I'm in Dayton every once in a while. So maybe one day I will. But yeah, sir, if you're listening, yes, I'm quite impressed with the legacy that you've left. And this is and Louie said this was Dayton Does Dayton was your idea. So I am looking forward to checking out this concert. Once again, it's going to be Friday, February 26th, and Saturday, February 27th. It's a 2-night ordeal. Now, we got another music surprise, but Lou, before we end our interview, is there anything else you want to add that people should know about Dayton Does Dayton, or anything that you care about?
Yeah, just a few quick things real quick.
Okay.
The show does start at 7:30 on the dot on Friday, February 26th this year. It's at Jilly's in downtown Dayton.
Be there.
It's jillysjazz.com, or you can follow it on Facecram at Dayton Does Dayton 6th Annual at Jilly's. It's all different musical styles and genres. Everything is across the board. Every music genre is practically covered in this. The wait for the bands in between the performances is less than 10 minutes. We're giving away tons of prizes. So many people are giving us gift certificates. It's insane.
Excellent.
You know, we have a company called La Puff Cotton Candy. They're a brand new cotton candy company. And they're tweeting right now about how excited they are because to be at Dayton Does Dayton on Friday the 26th, which is heavy on our blues night.
Yeah.
And they're going to be spinning free cotton candy for everybody. I mean, how rock star is that? I get a company to come in and spin cotton candy for everybody while they're eating their fried chicken and rocking out.
They're doing it for free, huh?
For free, and that's how excited people are.
Well,
you know?
This is something.
And it's really cool. If you look on the internet and you see some of the posts that the bands and solo artists are making and all the hundreds and the thousands of likes that they're getting from this event, that makes me excited for the event. I mean, when I see something like that and I see 100 likes about a band saying they're proud to be a part of it, it's like having 3 cups of coffee and I start working on another sponsor on the phone. So the energy and enthusiasm for this event is just off the chart. I can't get any sleep already, and it's like a month away. I want it to happen tomorrow night just to kind of get it over with because I'm so excited. You know that feeling as an artist, you know? So I wish it happened right now. I'm so excited.
Well, about a month away, it will happen. It's going to be excellent. And I'll see you then. I don't know. I will go to one of the nights. I mean, I'll try to do both nights, but I don't know. But I will be there, and I'll tell my friends. So,
if you can't make it on Friday, come on Saturday.
Come on
so I can see Ricky, so I can see you and Reyna. And let me ask you, a friend of mine, and she actually gave a shout out, Callie Muse, she gave a shout out through an IM message. So she says hello, she's listening. I mean, which night is she performing?
She's performing Saturday night. And here's a good note. There are more females performing at Dayton Does Dayton than there are males.
This year?
This year.
Well, that's good news. All right. Guys, if you're single, there's some talented female artists.
This is a singles night tonight.
And some of them might be single also, so they if they sing a song, they might be singing to you, and the magic will happen another way.
Can't beat it. There's so many great people.
Yes, we'll have some Dayton Does Dayton babies before it's all said and done.
That's right.
All right, so with Louie Wood Jr., thank you so much. This has been great, and I'll see you next month at the concert. But until then, Ricky, we got one more surprise for you. Ricky Johnson is still here hanging out. He wants to play one more song for you, so I'm going to go ahead and let him do it, and then we'll go to commercials. So Ricky, so everyone at home, give it up for Ricky Johnson.
I want to see you out there on the 27th. And this is a song I wrote. It's called "I Get the Blues in the Country." I'm in the country with the blues.
All right, live in the studio, Ricky Johnson.
Well, I live out in the country. There's a girl I see. Sometimes she comes out and spends time with me. We're loving in the morning and in the noon at night. And when she leaves, I get the blues before she's out of sight. I get the blues in the country. I'm in the country with the blues. I get the blues in the country. I'm in the country with the blues. I got a whole lot of loving, wanna give it all to you. I get your loving in the morning and in the noon at night. And when she leaves, I get the blues before she's out of sight. I get the blues in the country, I'm in the country with you. I said, and when that girl comes over, I get all warm inside. When we're under the covers, ooh, my, cause when she gets to leaving, my heart aches all inside. I'm out here in the country, I got her on my mind. I get the blues in the country, I'm in the country with the blues. I get the blues in the country. I'm in the country with the blues. I get a whole lot of loving. I want to get it on. I get your loving in the morning and in the night. And when she leaves, I get the blues before she's out of sight. I get the blues in the country. I'm in the country with the blues. I get the blues in the country. I'm in the country with the blues. I get a whole lot of loving. Want to give it all to you. I get your loving in the morning and in the night. And when she leaves, I get the blues before she's out of sight. I get the blues in the country. I'm in the country with the blues. I get the blues in the country. I'm in the country with the blues.
And we are back live with Ohio is on Fire. I am the host, Daniel Diesel. And once again, big thank you to Louie Wood Jr. And he was the one that hooked me up with the musical guest. And it was quite awesome. So I'll have to see where that ranks with some of my greatest episodes in Ohio is on Fire history. I'll have to see. But it was quite fun that I got to experience that. It was a taste of Dayton Does Dayton because there's that, and there'll be a lot more of that to come for the Dayton Does Dayton concert, which will be next month. Once again, I can't plug it enough. It's going to be February 26th and February 27th. 2 nights of great music action, all from artists that's in the Miami Valley area, and several that's in Cincinnati, Ohio. They'll all be under one roof. So with that, about next Tuesday night show, I'll be on with another new episode. I will have Bill France on as a guest next Tuesday night. He is a famous photographer, and his home base is in Dayton, Ohio. He does a lot of work in the area. He does photography work. My final message of the night, remember, New Year's resolutions is just another way to set goals for yourself. Say goodbye to bad things that happened to you in the previous year. There's nothing wrong with that. Just set New Year's goals for yourself, and there's a good chance, if you believe it, you will achieve it. That's all I got to say about that. So once again, until next Tuesday night, when I have my guest, Bill France, the photographer, I'll have him on next Tuesday night. But until then, Dayton, Ohio, that's the way it is.